Okay guys, so we have some extremely early spoilers for the next chapter of Black Clover, and it looks like this chapter is going to be jumping straight into the action because we're going to be having Asta facing off against Lucius. Okay, so the title of the chapter is The Savior and the Flaw of the World. The chapter starts with a short flashback to Lucius where he's seen looking at his siblings in the Spade Kingdom, then he's seen in some temple-like thing looking at broken stone tablets. I've thought a lot about what we are and what we are meant to accomplish. Follow the highest ranking devil Astaroth of time magic and find the answers. The most talented devil host in the history of our family, born with 2 souls in 1 body. And then it cuts to a conversation between Julius and Lucius. I've seen it, Julius, the future, the true peace of this world. Lucius, this is, I've seen you trying to stop me too. You, the closest to me, didn't understand. What are you doing, Lucius? It's fine, Julius, I've seen it all. Lucius, I can reach the peace of this world. The scene then cuts back to Asta and Lucius. Lucius stops time for everyone except for the 2 of them. Asta, Wizard King, no. Who are you? The magic of the Wizard King on a large scale. Lucius, I've taken Lucifero in. Asta in her thoughts, this key, it's like his, referring to Lucifero. What do you mean, man? You're the Wizard King, but you're not? You're human, but you're not? Who are you? Where is the Wizard King? Lucius, I'm the savior of this world. Julius is dead. Asta, the Wizard King is dead? Lucius, Julius had a mission for our ideals, to understand sadness, hatred, dispute, no discrimination for the sake of true peace. Don't worry, I've seen it all already. It's all according to my vision, except for one thing. You, born without magic, you are the flaw of this world. Who's the flaw, you idiot? Destroy all humanity? The Wizard King put his life at stake to save everyone. The Wizard King wouldn't die so easily, and so I'll stop you and save the Wizard King right here and now. I'll surpass the Wizard King. Editor's note, great ambition right here and now established. Lucius also says that he's stronger than Julius. Asta breaks the time freezing spell, chapter ends. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack from that summary. Alright, starting off with the whole inner monologue thing between Julius and Lucius. So what we're finding out in this chapter, that Julius and Lucius are kind of like Patry and William were pre the ending of the Elf arc, because they were sharing 2 souls in 1 body. Kind of like what I figured and said at the end of my review for chapter 331, but some people said I was wrong and that Lucius was actually the true personality and Julius was one that he kind of created and was masquerading as. But no, it turns out that they were actually just like them, but they were naturally born as 2 souls in 1 body. And it seems like Julius, although it was kind of weird because at the end of 331, it seemed like Julius had no idea about Lucius this entire time. But according to this chapter, they were aware of each other the entire time, just like how Patry and Patry and William were. But it could be that, you know, a lot of people suspected that Lucius actually has some kind of like mind manipulation magic, so maybe he was actually able to erase his personality or his like presence from Julius's memories, so that Julius wouldn't really know what's going on and wouldn't try to stop him from completing his ultimate plan. Because obviously, as we see in this chapter, Julius was going to try to get in the way of Lucius and stop him from doing whatever he was trying to do, and Lucius wouldn't have that. So, according to Lucius in this chapter, he erased Julius or killed him. Now, that being said, I think that Julius might still be alive. His personality is probably still locked away somewhere inside Lucius's mind. He's just not aware of it. Like, his soul is probably still somewhere that Asta could probably get to. Or maybe we actually might go on a mission where we actually had to go to like some kind of like spirit world and we actually get to see them trying to rescue Julius's soul so that they can actually put it back in control of his body over Lucius. And speaking of stopping Lucius, it seems like his plan was what we actually heard about earlier on in the last arc, when we actually were getting more backstory on Xenon, when we got to see his flashback and we saw him talking to Lucius for the first time. And he said that he wanted to basically create or recreate humanity using their magic. That brings up a strong question though, because as far as we're aware, all 3 of his siblings are dead. So their magic is gone. There's no way for him to actually use their abilities in conjunction with his own to create this new immortal humanity that can't die and doesn't feel pain. But maybe this might be Tabata hinting at the fan theory that all 3 of them somehow survived. Which, I mean, there is a slight possibility for Dante and Monica, because we actually never got to see them officially die, although it's very heavily implied that they were killed off during their fights. But when it comes to Xenon, we saw him get cut in half. Like, his heart is literally in pieces by the end of his fight with Yuno, so there's not really much room for him to return. Now, one thing that really caught my attention during the summary was the mention of that stone tablet that talks about Astaroth and following him. Because it seems like that whole thing is what kind of sets Lucius down this path of destroying humanity as it is now and recreating it using him and his siblings' magic. And it has me wondering, is that supposed to be some kind of like legendary prophecy that's found in the Spade Kingdom that no one was aware of besides the Zocritus family? because it has me thinking that maybe this entire time Lucius actually isn't going to be set up as the main villain. Maybe we're actually going to end up finding out that Astaroth is actually the one kind of pulling the strings from behind the scene. Because I'm thinking that if Astaroth actually set up that tablet and actually put that prophecy in front of Lucius, knowing that he might be able to achieve it or go down that path, that this actually might be Astaroth's way of gaining power in some sense. Because I wouldn't be surprised if Astaroth, if he actually is still alive, because like I said in my last review, I think that Lucius might have possibly eaten his heart just like he did Lucifero in order to gain his abilities. But if he actually is still alive, I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually using Lucius and his ideals in order to basically trick him into gaining power in the underworld, like become the new Supreme King. Or maybe this entire time Astaroth has just been tricking Lucius into thinking that after he destroys all of humanity, he can recreate it, when in reality Astaroth just wants to kill all humans without any struggle, so that the devils can actually come to the human world and just take it over. Either way, I'm just glad that this chapter is confirming that Julius is actually not a traitor and he's actually been a good guy the entire time, and even up to his apparent death, he was still trying to play the role as Wizard King and stop the ultimate villain from taking over. Now, getting into the confrontation between Asta and Lucius, I did see some people online upset that we wouldn't get to see, Yami or Noelle helping out in this fight. But you gotta remember, at the end of the chapter, we are gonna get to see Asta breaking the time freezing spell that Lucius used. So more than likely, that's gonna free him up in the next chapter to help out. And even though Yami's not there, more than likely he's gonna be able to sense the key and the magical energy coming from Lucius. It's actually very similar, but also sinister to Julius. So more than likely he's gonna try to figure out what's going on with that and just rush over there to help out. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if all the captains will be able to sense it and just come over there and try to get involved and figure out what's going on. Now, I don't think this fight's going to actually last very long because I think Lucius has a direct target that he's after, and it's not Asta. I think he's actually after Leeb, because without Leeb, Asta can't really do anything to interfere with his plan. His anti-magic abilities all come from Leeb and his connection to him, so if he can actually get rid of him, then Asta's pretty much null and void. And in one of the lead panels for this chapter, it does look like that during Asta and Lucius' conversation that he's actually putting a heavy emphasis and attention on Leeb. So yeah, more than likely he's actually going to be targeting him. Now, me personally, I don't think that Leeb's actually going to end up dying during this confrontation, just because I don't like the idea of Asta actually having any other magical ability outside of anti-magic. Because I feel like if Asta has a magical ability that he was actually born with, that we're just now finding out about at the end of the series, it's not only one, bad writing, but two, I feel like it kind of takes away the entire purpose of the character. Also, I don't think that fan theory that people have that Sister Lily is going to sacrifice herself during this fight is actually going to end up coming true, just because I feel like that they set up enough in this chapter for Asta to want to go after Lucius just by the idea of him possibly killing Julius. But anyway guys, that's all there is currently for the leaks for this chapter. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys thought about it and what your ideas are for where Tobias is going to be going with this. But that's it for the video guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.